10 2-mark questions. This is what the pattern is. So you can estimate how many marks you will get if you answer all those questions. After this, the first thing I want to discuss is that in the 1-mark question, everything will be very slight way of questioning, right? There is no typical questioning there. It is a one-word answer. You might feel it very easy to answer it also. So, for example, I will ask you one question. If you can, anybody answer me. So, which university first designed the Scratch? Can anybody tell me? The students of
MIT,
which?
sir.
MIT, sir.
MIT.
MIT, sir.
MIT.
MIT.
So, yes. So it's Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Okay, right. In which year the Scratch was first designed? Can anybody tell me? So the best way to study about Scratch and answer this type of questions is to go to Wikipedia. If you go to Wikipedia and you can see in which year the Scratch was first.
2003.
Yes, right. So can anybody tell me how using what programming language? So Scratch looks like a programming language, but still it's an interactive. Somebody,
Visual programming, sir.
1 minute, 1 minute. Yes. Okay. So it looks like a programming language, but it's an output. It's an interactive output. But what programming languages are used to design it? Can you just look into?
JavaScript, sir.
Hmm. Any other one?
HTML.
Somebody said visual programming something.
Yes, sir. Visual programming.
Okay, you say visual programming, but is it Visual C or Visual C++ or what is that exactly that they have designed it? Right. You can see that this is one type of question that you get, and let us look into the other thing. How many default sprites will be available if you start creating a project in Scratch?
One, sir.
Yes. So what is the default sprite that you have in Scratch?
Cat.
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 Cat. Mhm. So what is the block name that is called in which you can drag and drop all the code blocks and where these code
Script,
blocks?
sir.
Okay, that is script. But what is that package called?
Block palette.
Block palette. And the whole thing can be considered as backpack. Did you understand? Okay.
Yes, sir.
The next question can be something called like if you want to change the shape of the cat, what is the block that you use so that all different types of cat appearances will come?
Costume.
New costume.
Yes,
Costumes.
it will be costume. So the next thing also, you should be well prepared with these things. What are the additional packages that might be available? So we might give you 3 wrong answers and only 1 correct answer, like the additional package that you have. The music, the pen, the micro bit, and makey. So these are some of the things that you have an additional package. So sometimes we might give you. mm, are all 3 correct and say the fourth one is all of the above, or all 3 wrong and give the correct one in the fourth one. Okay, so that's how. Yeah, right. Can you create your own block?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
Okay, so what is the name of the loop that makes a cat walk without stopping infinitely?
Forever, sir.
Forever
Forever loop.
loop, sir. Forever loop, sir.
Okay, forever loop. And right. uh, the other thing can be something like, okay, so from the below, what you can do using a Scratch, maybe I will say A bit will be uh, you can play music, and B bit will be you can make a sprite walk, and C bit will be uh, uh, you can draw some diagram, and so that means you can paint some sprite, and D bit should be maybe none of the above. So I want to say that not none of the above. It should be something like what we say. You can create, uh, you can modify an existing block. You can modify an existing block. Of all these things, which one is considered false? That cannot happen in Sprite.
And we can modify.
Fourth option,
Yes,
sir.
yes. Fourth option cannot happen because we cannot modify block. So these are the type of questions that come in 1 mark bits. Okay. So coming to 2 marks, we are planning to give it like we will write a small scenario. Maybe the sprite is actually drawing something. Okay, like a circle. We will give 4 or 5 snippets of the whole code, and we ask you to get some code in which you need to fill up the sequence. For example, I will tell you. So maybe I have a code like this. Okay, uh, this one. So what we will do is we will take one snippet out, and we will give it like ABCD. We will leave it blank here, and we will ask you what is that you need to fill. And below we will give like A, this is a B option, this is C option, and this is D option. And in the below we will give like option 1 is A, option 2 is B, option 3 is C, and option D is 4. Okay, option 4 is D. Like that we will give. So this one whole will be coming as a image actually to you. So this is the question. This is question actually. This one, two, and the blank, and this line is the question. And in this, I ask you to fill up which block can fit here so that it will draw a circle. Example I'm talking. So you will try out filling up these things, and you will find out one at least, like in A, B, C, D, you will find out, okay, B is correct, and you will tick the option 2 below in the Google form. So a Google form can also come like images. So because 2 marks means you need to answer some blocks, and they need to be run as code. So we cannot give a simple statement for true or false, or what is the option that is correct in this. So we are planning to give this type of snippets in which you need to identify the missing line and or missing block, and you need to fill that missing block and tell us which one is correct. So this visual programming will also be given to you, and it is your wish whether you take the help of Scratch or not. But something is possible, like if you open many tabs to find out the answer, that you will be caught by the software that looks into that, right? So I hope you understand the pattern of how you can prepare for this examination. Have you understood it? Any other thing that we need to discuss? Any reply from your side?
Okay.
So I think one day Jayant was asking me, I think Jayant, are you present? Hello? Jayant, are you present? So I think Jayant said that few students want this pattern to be told how we can prepare for the examination. So I think the best way to prepare for the examination is create your own scenarios, small scenarios, like walking, jumping, going random position, and drawing some images, some circle, something, and you decide on your own. Like you learn on your own based on the scenarios. There is no certain portion that you need to learn this and by heart this and come back. So any scenario, you will get it in the question paper. It's your turn to learn, understand what it might be. So anyway, you have Scratch as a help to answer the questions. You can use that one also, because nobody can stop you there using Scratch in your home. So prepare for your own scenarios and understand each and every block, what is what. So sometimes the question might also come like, I will give you three options from looks, and I will also mix something from sensing. Okay, I will take some block like set drag mode, and I ask you to identify which of the following are the blocks belonging to looks? And you need to identify all the three correct answers, and the remaining one is, that's a bad one. So you will say no, it is belonging to sensing. So you tick this one, which is not part of looks. I hope this is also part of your question. So some blocks might be given to you and ask you that this block might not be in this particular class. Let us consider these things are classes. Motion is a class, looks are class, sound is a class, and event is a class. So among these classes, you have many blocks in each class. Like look class, you have these many blocks. So maybe I will sometimes mix with other class block and ask you to identify which one is the odd one. So odd one out, black sheep. You need to identify which is that particular one. So I think enough of this telling you how to prepare. Uh, I think, sir, I think I am finished with it. I'm done with it.
Right, sir. Uh, so any questions with respect to the pattern of the question paper, etc.?
No, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
Right. So now if scratch is over, any questions from the Python topics that we have covered so far? Whoever is having laptop, could you install Python at your end? Any questions from that students who are having problems for running with Python?
No, sir.
Right. So now can we continue with the Python topics
Yes, sir.
for today?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Kranti sir, shall I continue?
Yes, sir, definitely. You can.
So shall I share the screen, or because you're still sharing the screen? Right. Okay, done. So this session is recorded. We'll give this session recordings in the after this session, after this class. Now I will start sharing the screen. So whatever sir has discussed, I have included a few questions here in this PPT. Unit 1, right? And I will upload this in the GLer, in the resources section with today's date. Right. Now let us come to the Python. So the basic thing is covered. We could find out how to download the Python software, install it at our individual system, then write simple one line instructions in the Python interpreter, see it is working or not, then trying to type a group of instructions into a file using IDLE, then again from IDLE executing the program. So this is the basic thing. So when it comes to Python, we use the word script instead of Python. Right. So in today's session, we will try to work with numbers in Python. So to start with, let me check at my end. Again, for working with numbers, I don't require an IDLE or something. I just need a Python interpreter. Right. So, right. So 3.x and above, fine. Right. So according to you, what are the different types of numbers?
Integers, whole numbers.
Okay, right,
Natural
right.
numbers.
Okay, right, good. So we have integers, decimal numbers, integers, also whole numbers. That means numbers without any fractions. So let us see how do we represent these numbers in Python. Okay. Now, Python doesn't require any declaration or something, that also we have seen earlier. So I just take some variable and let me take I initialize directly and a whole number or an integer. Then using print function, I print the value of I. Okay. Similarly, I take another variable. Let me take f, give a fraction 3.14 something, then print f. I get it. Now, since we know there is one more function called as type, I just check what is the type of I. It is saying int. Int stands for integer. Then I find out what is the type of f. F stands for float. F is the float type. So now I say integers, int in Python, decimal numbers are float in Python. Okay. Now, in addition to this two, in Python, we have one more type called as complex numbers. So complex numbers are of the format a plus I into b, where I is considered as an imaginary number. I star b, I into b, where I is called imaginary number whose value is square root of -1. Now let us see how do we give complex numbers in Python. So I see c is equal to 3 plus I 5. I into 5. I print C. Oh, I is already taken, no? Okay. I is taken as a variable. So I will get an output of 3 plus 10 into 550. 3 plus 10 into 553. Okay. So how do I represent complex number? Maybe.
Sir, clear the above part, sir.
No, but instead of I, there should be something else to represent. I forgot. Complex numbers. Okay. The moment we lost something, we just Google search how to represent complex numbers in Python. Oh, x plus yi. Earlier I have represented x plus iy. It is x plus yi. Okay, let us see. Converts using a function complex xy. Okay, let us see if I can do that. C is equal to 3 plus 5i. Again, invalid syntax. Okay, what went wrong? Do I need to use this function complex xy? Okay, let us see whether I can use it or not. C is equal to complex 3 comma 5. Now it did not give me any error. Just say print C. So while printing, it is saying 3 plus 5j. So after knowing this, let me just see whether I can, instead of using complex function, whether I can directly put like this. So I take another variable C1 is equal to some 7 plus 8j. Oh, now it did not give me any error. Now I say print C1. So I could have directly given as like this, but I just wanted to know what is the kind of errors that we get. The moment we get an error, we try for some more things. We see what is error. So 3 plus ij, name error, i5 is not defined. Then we wrote, we've checked it in the Google. It says you write it I later. We wrote I later. Again, it is giving syntax error. Then we used this function complex. It is displaying like this. So instead of I, we are using j. When we use j, it did not give me that syntax error. Okay. So in regular mathematics, when we learn, they tell us that complex number is the form a plus maybe I or j something. So now I again modify this. Since we are dealing with Python, so I will just say j. I don't use asterisk symbol, where j is an imaginary number, whose value square root of -1. Yeah. Now let me see the type of it. C1, type of C1. So there is one more type called as complex. Okay. So we have int, float, and complex. So complex type is so. In addition to these three, can you identify any other type of number? So that we can check whether Python supports that type of number also.
No, sir.
Right? So Python supports, as of now, as of our discussion, Python supports three categories of numbers. They are integer numbers, float numbers, which are represented using decimal or which are fractions. The third category is complex numbers. And for complex numbers, this is the way. This is the way. But while discussing this, we came to know that there is a function like this. Okay, now let us see whether do we have functions like this for int and float as well. Okay, so let me take a variable. I have used ij. Let me take a is equal to int 10 and print a. So we have int function also, just like complex. We have int function also. So do we have float function? That also let us check. So we have float function also. Now a doubt comes into my mind. When we can directly initialize them, I is equal to 10, so some variable is equal to 3.14, and complex variable c1. When we can directly initialize the variables, what is the need for a separate function like this? Can anyone answer?
For conversions.
Right. So one possible answer is when you want to convert one type to another type. Okay. So let us see. So f is there. F is a floating type. Okay. Now I want to convert that f floating type into integer type. So I say f1 is equal to int. I pass f as an argument. Now I print what is f1. So what it has done, 3.14, it has truncated to 3. So this fraction part is removed. So I get one more dot. Is it truncation, that means only getting the integer part, or is it rounding? That means if my f is 3.9, when I convert that into integer, will 3.9 be rounded or will 3.9 be truncated? So it is only truncation. So 3.9, when you convert that into int, you only get the integer part. It is not rounding. Now I will try to find out what is the type. Whenever you have doubt in mind, what is the data type of that variable, we can always check with the help of type function. And what's the type of f? No. So float we have converted into integer. Similarly, integer can be converted into float. So I is equal to say 8. So I
think it will give us 8.0, sir.
right, it gives us 8.0. So I is 8, but the other variable is 8.0. So this is float type. This is integer type. Now, what about complex? So what about complex? I complex is equal to complex. I am passing value of I 8 to the complex function and storing it in a new variable, and I print.
Will print edges.
So So 8 plus 0 into j. And if I see the type of it, so the topic of Python numbers will include what are the 3 categories of numbers supported by Python, how to initialize numbers to variables, how to convert one number type into another number type. So that's all for under the topic of Python numbers.
So we can use floor function, ceil function. Floor function, ceil function.
Right, good. So they come under the categories of where is the syllabus? Right, maths function calls. So in Raptor also we had, the moment you get a number, we can use floor, ceil to get integer type, something like that. Similarly, we have many function calls. So we thought of only discussing one topic for today, numbers. Right. So numbers. Use the word typecasting. So there are typecasting is the word that we use when you want to convert one type to another. So there are typecasting functions available to convert one type of number to another. What are those typecasting functions with respect to numbers? Again, the same, int, floor, and complex. Right. So if you are logged in with laptops, you can just practice at your end. If you get any errors, try to read what the error is, then try to overcome it. If you still have doubts, you can ask. So maybe another 5-10 minutes.
So in Linux, it is giving tar.xz extension, sir.
In Linux, okay. Can you share your screen?
I am not using Linux, but I tried in trial version, sir, in my PC, but I am in laptop now. I have taken a picture. I will show that while downloading.
Right. Now, if you are in Python environment, it should work in the same fashion. Right. So we are not using 3 arrow marks indicate we are in Python environment. So Python environment, if it works in Windows, it should, the same kind of instruction should work in other operating system Python as well. Okay. So these whatever instructions we are given, they are not instructions related to the operating system. They are instructions for the Python environment. And when earlier we were using Python software. What is of Python? Python software. Okay. So Python software. Now we know that what are part of this Python software? It is interpreter and IDLE. We don't have to install separately. It is part of the Python software itself. And for the time being, let us put only the interpreter and IDLE. There are some more things also which gets downloaded when you download a Python software and install. So for the time being, let us confine ourselves only to an interpreter. So what is interpreter? Nothing but this is only the Python interactive interpreter. So it is interactive. You give an input, it does something, it gives us output. And it keeps on asking. The blinking cursor means that it is expecting an input from the user. So it is interactive. So as of now, the Python software is only two, the interpreter and the IDLE. So IDLE we use when we want to group multiple instructions into one file. You give a name to that file. The file name will have py extension, etc. Now, what if you don't give py extension? I don't want to name a Python file with py. What will happen? Or can you able to execute or not? It is left to you. You can just practice it at your end. Okay. So you can practice, and then any questions you have, you can ask. If there are no questions, maybe after some time. Okay, Sandeep Reddy is sharing something.
Sir, when I downloaded a Python, let's see, it has shown like this. As I am using the trial version, I am not yet fully installed, sir.
Okay.
But why
Just I
coming?
use a trial version of Linux.
Okay.
No, actually,
Sir?
there is no need for you to use any Linux or something. You can download it, and along with that, you can use directly from the Python interpreter. That is separate thing. It comes like a terminal. Okay, don't go. Are you using Ubuntu or Windows? Hello.
Sir, in laptop I am using Windows, sir.
Then what is this? Why you are trying to download?
In
Okay.
PC I am trying to use Mint, sir.
Okay.
Linux Mint I tried, sir. In that, so sir asked what is the extension of Windows and Mac. I tried for Linux, sir.
Okay. Right.
So it is giving tar.xz. So
Okay.
to show, I taken a
Okay.
screenshot.
Oh, okay. Fine. Right.
For only this purpose, I have installed that Linux, sir.
Okay. Right. No problem. I thought you had a doubt. Okay. No problem.
Sir,
And
might
also,
it help installing it on Mac, sir?
Yeah, installing it on Mac means, see, Python Mac. Sorry, no, Mac comes with Python by default. Okay. You just go to your terminal and type Python 3. It will show you all those things.
I meant Raptor, sir, not Python.
Raptor. Okay. First install Wine.
I have Wine, sir.
You have Wine. Okay. Have you downloaded this Raptor tool?
Sandeep, you can stop sharing.
Sir, this floor function is working, sir.
Sir, I downloaded this thing called Raptor.msi.
I typed math.floor, sir. Then it rounded it.
Yashwant, let the other person complete. He has some doubt now related to Mac.
Yeah. Can you share the screen, Amma, for Mac?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Now open that. Show me where you have downloaded. Okay. Right. Raptor.msi. Right. Right click on that .msi. Raptor 2019.msi. Not that one. The below one. The below one. Raptor 2019.msi. Right click on that. Open with Wine. Have you? Okay, you have installed Wine, so it is coming. Is there any other screen that it is installing? No.
No, sir.
No, at least it has to start somewhere else, right? You said open with Wine.
Yeah, it's not starting. This is the problem I was facing
Okay,
earlier.
on top, have you gone to Wine there?
There's wine over here.
Okay, click on it, double click on it. Let us see what. But I think Wine is not working for you. There is a problem with Wine itself. See, you have opened it, but it's still not opening. Oh, 1 minute. Okay, go to the top bar. Just close this one. Close the screen. Go to the top bar. Can you see any Wine there? Wine symbol or something?
No wine symbol.
Not that bar. On top.
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not there.
It should come when you open it. Some Wine symbol should come. So let me share my screen once. You stop sharing it. So if you say something like raptor.exe, so a pop-up, see, this is how the symbol should come. Are you able to see the Wine bottle symbol? And then you need to go. So I think uninstall Wine and install it again for your version. I don't know which operating system, like OS, which one you are using, which version. So specifically download Wine for that particular version only.
Okay.
Okay. Then only it will open. So there is a problem with Wine, not your Raptor file actually. Wine is not opening. It's very slow.
Okay.
So I think it is unable to read the binaries of your operating system, and that is the reason why it is not working properly. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. Try out, and tomorrow we can see in the next class. Okay. Over to you, sir.
All right. Okay. So, Yashwant, you are saying floor function.
Yes, sir. When we type math.floor, it is working, sir.
Right. Good. So, math is a module. We will discuss about modules later.
Sir, is seal function and round function is same, sir.
Is field.
Seal function and round function, the output will be given same. Sir.
Round is okay. What is the other function name?
Seal.
Sealing, sir. Seal function.
Seal.
Yeah.
Okay. Seal function. Oh, you tell me, are they same?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Great, sir.
Right. Can you share your screen, Mohan?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Let us try to implement the function directly first. just type C floor, FLOOR, without using math floor, and give some.
Sir, it will not work, sir.
Let us see working. Let us see. Directly inside, give some number.
3 by 2.
Enter. So it says name error. Name floor is not defined. Okay. Now implement math and then floor, math floor. Okay, don't import. Directly type math dot floor. Okay, name math is not defined. Use capital M.
Sir, I think we must import math, sir. I did
Okay.
import
Yes,
math
sir.
and then only it worked for me.
So
Yes, sir.
okay, so math is not a default module that gets imported along with Python. Fine. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So then now import math. So for others who are not able to understand, leave whatever we are following. Just ignore them. We'll come to it later. So now it is working. So math floor 1.5 is 1. Good.
It was also same, sir. Double slash.
Okay. Right. Your doubt is whether round and math floor is same or not.
No, sir. Seal, sir. Just like
Seal. Fine. Now put seal.
seal.
Okay, so 1.5 is a floating number. Floor gives 1, seal gives 2. Now instead of 3 by 2, try to give. Okay, round is also giving.
Same.
I need one.
These two are same, sir. First, floor and this double slash are same, and seal and round are same, sir.
Okay. Now instead of by 2, let us put. For round, you don't have to use math, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now put round 1.75. Okay, now put math seal 1.75. That is also giving 2.
Yes, sir.
Give round 1.4. Math dot seal 1.4.
Same, sir. Oh no.
No.
Sir, sealing function is different, I guess, sir, with rounding. Rounding has different rules, sir.
Right. So.
Yes, sir. Round means before 5 it will give least number, sir. After 5 it will give biggest number.
Good. Okay. So then the same thing should work with floor and seal also, no? Math dot floor and math dot floor and double.
Yes, sir.
Double slashes.
Double slashes, sir.
How to prove that they are different?
Sir, double slash will give you the
Quotient.
reminder, I think, sir.
Quotient.
No, sir, reminder, I think. Sir.
Reminder
No,
is
sir.
percentage.
Question, sir.
Reminder
Question,
is
sir.
percentage.
Question, sir.
Okay, okay.
So math dot floor, what does it give?
It will give least number, sir. If we take 1.4 means it will give 1 that like
below
least
integer,
number.
sir.
Below integer.
Right. Can we say both give us the same output? Math dot. No. The original doubt is okay. Now, previously someone helped me in doing annotation, right? Round and seal. Initially, we started with saying that both are same. So
Yes,
now we have given an example where the output is different, right? Now, but the previous floor and this are giving same output. Now, can we come up with an example where the output will come different?
Current 5. Yes, sir. We can, sir.
Okay, so give one example.
Uh, sir, same, sir. It will come.
Sir, try 4.9.
Okay, math floor 4.9.
Math seal of 4.9 and
No,
floor of
seal
4.9.
is okay. Now we are looking for floor and that double forward slashes.
Sir, it will work for this. Different. You will get different, sir.
So how to put a 4.9 double slashes?
Double slash.
49 by 10.
Okay, 49. 2 forward slashes 10.
Same.
So when they give same, what is the point in giving two different things? Rendu
You won't
output
need to
okte
use that
vachinappudu.
whole thing mat dot floor.
So any guesses from other students? When the output is same, why should one have used two different things? మనల్ని కన్ఫ్యూజ్ చేయకుండా ఉండొచ్చు కదా. ఓకే
సార్ ఎనీ కాంప్లెక్స్ నెంబర్ కాంప్లెక్స్ నెంబర్ తీసుకోండి సార్.
So you can try like 5.0 floating number.
Okay, now applying mathematical operations on numbers. Okay, we thought we will take it in a different session, but now can I say, suppose if I start annotating, now suppose if I say the one that we are using here is an operator, the one that we are using is a function. Operators are different from functions. ఈ కాంటెక్స్ట్ లో సేమ్ అవ్వచ్చు, బట్ కొన్ని సిచ్యువేషన్స్ లో ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు గెట్ ద ఫ్లోర్ ఆఫ్ ఎ బిగ్ ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్, మనకి ఇక్కడ ఫంక్షన్ లోపల ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్స్ ఇవ్వచ్చు. యూ కెన్ గివ్ ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్స్ ఇన్సైడ్ దిస్. ఆ ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్ డిపెండింగ్ అపాన్ వాట్ ఇట్ గివ్స్, వెదర్ ఇట్ క్యాన్ గివ్ ఎ కాంప్లెక్స్ నెంబర్, ఏ ఫ్లోటింగ్ నెంబర్, సంథింగ్ లైక్ దట్. బట్ ఇక్కడ ఇచ్చేటప్పుడు డివిజన్ కూడాను వీ క్యాన్ గివ్. సో అది we will when we discuss about mathematical operations, then we can tell what is the difference between them. But for the time being, the difference between math.floor and do forward slashes is one is a function, the other one is an operator.
Right.
Okay, right.
Yes, sir.
సో ఏదైనా ఇట్లాంటిది ఏదైనా డౌట్ వచ్చిందనుకోండి, అక్కడికక్కడ క్లియర్ చేసుకుంటే ఇట్ బికమ్స్ ఈజీ. So any more doubts with respect to numbers? So if no doubts are there, shall we go with strings, next topic?
Yes, sir.
Next is strings. So maybe in the previous session we used all the three types: double quotes, single quotes, and three double quotes. So let us see. Now let me print all of them. Right. I think some in one of the previous classes we also seen when you put comma, automatically between one string and the next string space is taken. Okay. While printing itself, suppose I ఇక్కడ space ఇచ్చాను కాబట్టి ఇక్కడ వచ్చింది అనుకుందాం. Next time అది తీసేద్దాం. Let me remove that space between the arguments and then check it. Okay. So the moment you put comma, right, automatically one space is given in the output to differentiate between one word between multiple strings. So ఎలా ఇచ్చినా కూడా double quotes ఇచ్చినా, single quotes ఇచ్చినా, three double quotes ఇచ్చినా, it is taken as a string. String చెప్తున్నాను. So how do I know? I can use type. str is the type name. Str stands for string. So name, middle name is also string. Last name is also string. So అలా ఇచ్చినప్పుడు when already ఇక్కడ పెట్టినప్పుడు right, we were using this double quotes, single quotes and triple quotes. Okay, triple quotes. So అలా ఇచ్చాము. సరే, let me use that also. Okay, now let us print. And type. Okay, right. str, triple quotes. So double quotes, single quotes, as well as triple quotes. ఎలా ఇచ్చినా కూడాను it is considering only as string type. If that
Sir,
is the case,
sir, we have a suggestion like don't, DON'. For don't, he wants it how it will react.
Okay, okay. Someone is putting in the chat. Like,
yes, sir. Yes.
I did not check it now. Oh, okay. So string, okay. String one. Don't. So in generally in different when we type sentences, we come across this word DON'. Don't. I want to put it as part of my string. So here you are getting invalid syntax. Okay, you started with a single quote here, you end that single quote here. That is how the interpreter understands. But then you are typing something else, T, and again ending it. So the interpreter doesn't understand a regular English. So thinks that you have by mistake you have kept T here. So it is giving us invalid syntax. So now how to include such kind of sentences, such kind of strings in our variables. So to overcome it, let us check if we use double quotes. Now it did not give me any error. When I print that string, single quote is also part of our string. Let me see what is the type. String type. So when I'm sharing the screen, I'm not able to see the chat window. Okay. So no, why do we require double quotes, single quotes inside a string? So to accommodate such kind of sentences. So now what the interpreter does is the moment you give double quotes here, it will check for the ending double quotes. This is starting double quote, this is ending double quote. So whatever is included between starting and ending, that will treat it as a string. Whereas in the previous case, we have started with a single quote here. So the interpreter, Python interpreter treats this as the ending single quote. So DON should be string 1, but we also included T. So the moment it comes across T, it says invalid syntax.
Sir, Mohan is asking to use escape character for that.
Oh, good. Good.
Even Sai also, Purna Sai.
Right. So let us check for escape because we have escape character capital N and all. No, right? Okay, good. So Kranti sir, when we share the screen, can't we see the chat box?
We can see, sir. Anyway, don't worry. I will be there to assist you.
Okay, right. So string 2. No, again, let me see. Again, use the don't / T and then single quote. Now let us check. Oh, it is working. Don't, it is working. Okay. Then okay, when it is working, why should we get confused with single quotes, double quotes, triple quotes? Let me see. Right, I will again share. So using escape character, we had a problem here. We had a problem here, invalid syntax. So to overcome that problem, we can use escape character like this. So when we already have escape character which can cater to this, what is the need for single quotes, double quotes? Can anyone answer?
Skips the very next letter.
It is.
The interpreter simply skips the very next letter into the code.
Yes, no, that is what the escape character does it. So my question is, when you already have a feature where you can overcome this problem, so when the text also contains single quote, we can just escape that with the help of escape character and put it in single quotes and use. then we require either we will follow only one terminology or put double quotes in a string. Why are they allowing even single quote to be a part of the string, etc.?
What if we wanted to print quotations, then we'll be using double quotes. So then we'll be used
Right,
to.
that also let us check it. Let us check that also. So I use string 3 equal to any sentence which uses double quotes. Okay. Right, okay. I want to emphasize my name. Oh, Larry, can you observe difference now? When I've kept double quotes and then used it, it gave me a single quote here and here. For earlier, it did not give me like that. Let me test it one more time. I got string 4.
String spelling wrong, sir.
String 4. Sorry. String has spelling wrong. Okay, here only
Sir,
I have
you wrote
it is
sting,
sting.
sir, not string.
Sting. Okay. It gave me again single quotes.
You're typing without R's.
Right. I'm typing. No, that is okay. If I say again print string 4, it is not giving single quotes. Only when I print directly the variable name, it is giving.
It is representing strings, sir.
Right. Good. So Python is representing strings in single quotes, but it is asking us to use double quotes. Right. So there is a provision in Python where using escape character, you can print single quote or double quote. But again, my question is, when there is a provision, why again 3 different types to represent a string? Okay, so think of it. I will again, what is the difference? This triple quotes we did not, we only give an example, but we did not explain it. We will explain this when we talk about functions. Right. So coming back to the strings, let me, okay, we don't know how to clear that, all that, fine.
Sir, in representing doc string, we want to use triple quotes.
Okay, good. So triple quotes, they are also called as doc strings. So doc strings, as the name suggests, they are meant for documentation. In short, they are just called as doc strings. So what is documentation? Documentation, we will see as we proceed. Now, we have just seen different ways of representing a string. Now, is there any possibility where we can apply some kind of operations on a string? Let us see. So let me again create some strings here. First name, last name. Let us concatenate them. So we have a symbol called as plus. Plus is referred to as string concatenation. So concatenation means joining. You can join strings with the help of plus symbol. So when I have joined, it just joined and got that value printed. So there is no spaces between them. If you want spaces, you have to include manually. And this we used to do it in the Raptor also. It gave me this spaces we have done manually. Okay. So on strings, what kind of operator you can do? We can use plus operator, which will concatenate strings. Now once having known about plus, can we use minus? So can I use minus? Let us see. Instead of implementing on all, I will just implement on just a couple of things. So because it is, we are able to use plus, I have just tested whether we can use multiply minus also, but it says unsupported type error, unsupported operand for minus on applying with string and string. Now let me, can I apply for multiplication? So it again says type error, can't multiply sequence of non-int of type str, because it is meaningless. No, some string multiplied with another string, it doesn't give us any meaning. But when you observe the error, type error, it says when you use minus, it says unsupported operand for type minus string and string. It could have said the same thing. It could have said unsupported operand for types for multiplication, string and string, but it gave me something else. Can't multiply sequence by non-int of type str. So again, it should give me some kind of a hint. Okay, you cannot multiply by non-int. So can I multiply with an int? So first name multiplied by 3. What is my first name be? Okay, instead of first name, let us use middle name. Oh, I forgot. No, I forgot to put the bracket here. So it is giving me 3 dots to complete my instruction. Let me run this again. So what it is doing, it is repeating that string middle name whose value is surag 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. So now that That is the error that is given. Can't multiply sequence by non-int of type str. Now here, since this last name is a non-int type, it gave me error. I have given int type. It is the same string is repeated 3 times. Can I use division? Again, so unsupported operand types for division. One is str. Where is that? One is str. Other one is int. What will happen if I give both as strings? Again, unsupported operand for type str and str for division. Okay. So till now in our discussion, numbers is there. Okay, now let me go for strings. What is a string? Characters. What is its type? str. Is allowed. You can use plus. You can use asterisk. Can we use any other operators? We don't know till now. We have to explore and find out. And what is the output when you use these operators? You can just verify it. Okay, it's 324. I think I will stop it here. You can practice it in your laptop, and if you have any questions, you can ask. I will stop my screen share here. Right. Okay. So for this both first underscore name and middle underscore name together, it will be concatenated, and only one argument is passed to the print function. Whereas in the second case, this is one argument, this is another argument. And how does the Python interpreter know that these are two arguments based on the comma that you give here. So this comma is a separator, argument separator for print. Okay. So here you are sending two arguments to print function, and what does print do? It will print what is first name B, and to separate them into arguments, because you have used comma here, it will give space. That is the feature of the print. It will give one space default, and what is the second argument that you are given? Middle underscore name. What is middle underscore name? SURAJ. So that gets printed. Okay, so plus and comma, they are not same in the actual sense. Plus is only string concatenation, comma is argument or parameter separator for print. Okay, let us test by assigning a concatenation of strings into another string and see whether they are same or not, whether plus and comma are same or not. So I take a new string. I want to concatenate first name plus use proper name complete is equal to first name plus middle name plus last name. Okay. What we are doing, we are concatenating all these strings and assigning it to a new string, and this let me print. Now I realized that I don't have to use print function every time. If I directly type the name of the variable, it gets printed. Okay. Now the same thing, let me just check whether if I put comma instead of place, whether this space gets automatically created or not. Another way. Name, comma. Okay, there is no error. No, let me print it. So we are able to run this. There is no error. That means it has executed properly. But when I print it, it is showing in a different way. It is putting brackets and putting each of them as a string with commas. So this
is it tuple, sir? Is it tuple, sir?
It is.
It is tuple.
Tuple, right. Good. Tuple. Okay. So tuples we did not discuss, so leave it. So we can do it, but it is not concatenation. So plus and comma, it is not, they are not same when we use inside a print function for strings. Even outside the print also, they don't work in a similar fashion. All right, so I think for today this is sufficient, numbers and strings. variables, okay. Operators, expressions, math functions using Python interactive.